Stop dieting. One of the biggest mistakes I see both men and women making is spending far too much of the year trying to lose weight and nowhere near enough time trying to build muscle. And I completely understand why. In today's society, we're constantly told to eat less, do more cardio, make the number on the scale go down. But if your goal is to have toned arms, legs, a nice sculpted back and shoulders, round glutes, and a physique that looks athletic and muscular, spending all year dieting is probably the very thing that's holding you back. So today in this video, I want to explain why I encourage so many of my clients to spend much longer building muscle than they do dieting. Now let's start with one thing that often surprises people. Fat loss doesn't actually create shape. It just simply reveals what's already underneath. Imagine you've got a sculpture hidden underneath a blanket. Removing the blanket doesn't create the sculpture, it just reveals it. Now your body works in the exact same way. If you spent years dieting but very little time building muscle, when you lose body fat, there simply isn't a huge amount of muscle underneath to give you that toned look that you're chasing. And there's one phrase that I hear so often: I've lost weight but I still don't like how I look. And usually what I find is it's not because they haven't lost enough body fat, it's because they haven't spent enough time in a muscle building phase that gives their body that shape. The biggest example of this that I see very often is women and their glutes. So when body fat is higher, your glutes can appear a lot fuller, more shapely. Then you start to diet down and then you lose your bum. Now, this is because you are just simply not holding enough muscle in your glutes to begin with. So if body fat levels are higher around your glute and hip area, of course, when you start losing that body fat, you're going to be left with nothing with regards to shape. And this is where you need to commit to a muscle building phase to build the muscle within the glutes so that when you diet down, you don't lose your bum. When people say they want to look toned, what they're describing is muscle. Those rounded glutes, that little bit of shoulder that gives you that hourglass shape, defined legs, defined arms, that is muscle. Fat loss simply allows you to see it. One of the best examples I give clients is this. You could have two men, two women that both weigh exactly the same. Let's say 65 kg each. One has spent years dieting, the other has spent years strength training and building muscle. But the scales say the exact same thing. But visually, they could look completely two different people. That's why I always say, stop chasing a number on the scales and start chasing that strength and building muscle. So many people get stuck in this exact cycle. They diet, lose some weight, lose some muscle, finish the diet, go back to eating normally, gain weight again, then start another diet year after year after year. Now the frustrating part is this: if the dieting process is not done right and you diet without preserving muscle, we make it harder to create the physique we actually want. And this is what I often tell my team. Sometimes the fastest way to transform your body is to actually stop dieting for a while. But then with this comes fear. That fear is building muscle. Now I know full well what some people will be thinking right now watching this video. I don't want to get bulky. Honestly, this is one of the biggest myths in the fitness industry right now. Please trust me when I say this. Building muscle takes time. A lot of time. Patience, consistency. And even with patience, consistency, great training, good nutrition, muscle growth is still a slow process. And this is a lot harder for females because naturally we have lower testosterone than men, which means you're not going to suddenly go to bed and then wake up looking huge and bulky. You've got to remind yourself that when you commit to building muscle, you're aiming to build a stronger physique, a shapelier physique, your clothes will fit better, your glutes are going to develop, your back's going to develop, whatever it is you want to focus on, you have to keep telling yourself why you are committing to that process. And when we hear that word definition, I want defined shoulders, then again, all that is you creating muscle within that area. So when you do pull the body fat down, you will have defined shoulders, your legs are going to look more athletic. That's what building muscle actually looks like. This is exactly why many of my clients don't jump straight into a fat loss phase. And when I get new clients that join the team, jumping straight into a fat loss phase is not always the best option. Sometimes it's better to kind of look at your daily habits routine and build a solid foundation before you go into that fat loss phase. That doesn't mean that you're going to stall fat loss. You're actually going to put yourself in a better position for that fat loss phase to happen. Sometimes the best thing to do is spend months focusing on performance, getting stronger, eating enough food, recovering properly, progressively overloading in the gym. If you know you're training effectively, you're looking at your form, technique in the gym, and everything's progressing nicely, then you are going to build muscle that way. And when we do decide to diet and pull body fat levels down, we'll have something to reveal. Personally, I'd much rather see someone spend 6, 9, 12 months building muscle and then 8 to 12 weeks in a dieting phase than spend the whole year stuck in an endless cycle of just trying to lose weight. Reason why? Because the results at the end are always so much better. Now, I'm just going to give you a couple of client examples. The first one is Lauren. Now, Lauren is the exact same body weight in both of these pictures. Now, because she spent a decent amount of time going through an initial dieting phase, we then went into a building phase, we then did a mini cut, back into a building phase, and then cut down again. You can see how much her body composition has improved just by doing that process. Every time you take your body through them phases, your body comp gets better and better, and you tend to be on a lot better calories and less output. Now, the same with Marlon. So the last time we cut Marlon down was 2024, and he, at the end of the cut, was 91 kg. Now, we've just done another big 12-week dieting phase, and he weighed in this morning at 99 kg. Now, because we've spent 2 years building muscle with one mini cut in between, that has allowed him to put on 7, 8 kg of muscle in that 2-year period, but he had to commit to that process. So if you've been stuck dieting for years and you're still not happy with how your body looks, maybe the answer's not another calorie deficit. Maybe it's not another dieting phase. Maybe the answer is to commit to a building phase and start building some muscle. Give yourself at least 6 months where you commit to getting stronger in the gym, ticking off all them boxes that you need to be able to build muscle. And then the next time you diet down, maybe you'll have something to reveal and a body that you'll be happy with. I do have an ultimate muscle building guide, 3-part series that will be dropping soon, so keep your eyes peeled for that one. But in the meantime, if you have found this video helpful, I'd love to know in the comments below how long you've spent trying to build muscle, if you've committed to the process. Talk to me, reach out. And if you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.